3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, mic check. We are ready to begin. Mic check. Welcome to the program. Welcome to another edition of The Disruption on Citizen TV's Facebook page. My name is Wahiga Mwaura. We are ready to get started and talk a little bit about COVID-19 and how it's forced you to reevaluate your career, whether by necessity or by choice. Is it time for a plan B? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Remember, the hashtag is The Disruption, and you can post all your questions on the Facebook feed, and I will be reading them even as the program continues. But let me tell you a little bit about my guests who will be joining me for the program today. We have Liz Tonjira Mutuma, Head of Global Corporate Communications with Amref Health Africa. Liz, thanks so much for finding time for us today.
Wahiga, thank you.
Good, good. Glad you can hear me. We also have Caleb Karuga. He's an agripreneur and the CEO of Wendy Farms, and his background speaks for itself. Caleb, or should I say Caleb, thank you for making time for us as well.
Thank you for having me, Wahiga.
Good. We'll also have one or two people who will be joining us a bit later on in the program to talk about their experience with this whole concept of Plan B, because 2020 really is the year of Plan B, when you have to think about making, some choices depending on how life is going for you. Let me start with you, Liz. A couple of years back, you essentially reinvented yourself. Briefly tell us about that journey. We knew you as a newsreader with a media house here, but now you're in a completely different space. What caused you to go into that transition or transformation?
Okay, great. Thank you, Wahiga. I think whenever we talk about reinvention and thinking about my journey, is reinvention is not about discarding the old you and having a totally new you. It's about taking all the experiences that you've had over time, whether good, the bad, the ugly, and your failures and successes, and learning from them. When I left TV, I remember we weren't just only news reading, a point of correction, but it was about producing a show. I was a producer and host of the Women and Power show. I did primetime news. I had the East Africa Agenda show, and anybody would wonder, why are you leaving at this time when you are at the peak of your TV career? And for me, it's something that I had really thought about. As a fourth estate, our role was to hold the people in power accountable. And I really wanted to understand how the public sector is run. I wanted to do my postgraduate in public policy and management. And I had to make the tough decision to leave media for something that I was truly passionate about, making the news behind the scenes. And it's been a wonderful journey. I left TV in early 2014, and I cannot imagine the leaps and bounds I have made in my career, having moved to the corporate sector, having founded the Liz Ntonjira Network, to have conversations exactly about what we are having today, which is about how do you reinvent yourself? How do you become a competitor of the older version of yourself? So the journey has been really fantastic since I left media. I got my 2 masters. I've changed jobs, I think, about 4 or 5 times.
It almost sounds like you have no regrets. But surely there must have been some difficulties in reinventing yourself. I mean, for you, it sounds like the perfect journey. Was it?
When I think it in my perspective, I wouldn't have done it in any other way. And I always say there is nothing to regret about. Everything you go through is a learning lesson. For me, I felt that it was about time for me to leave the media. I felt that I would make a much bigger impact behind the scenes. Of course, and the question you ask me is a question that if I had dollars for every time I've been asked why I left TV, I'd be really, really rich. But it's been a really amazing journey, and I think it's because I was very purposeful. I didn't look at me. I looked at media as part of my career journey to a bigger and better version of myself. And I think when I looked at my core values, my mission, my vision, which is something that I always tell young people to do, because at the age of 16, I always used to look at companies that I wanted to work for. And every time I went to a website, the first thing you see is our mission, our vision, our core values. And I decided to run myself as a mini company. What is my mission? What is my vision? What are my core values? And plugging into those three key things, I've been able to make very attractive decisions about my career path, my professional path, my educational path. So it's been really, and I would pose that challenge to each and every person who's watching this session. What is your mission? What is your vision? What are your core values? And so when I went back to that document and thinking about leaving TV, it wasn't very hard to make that decision because I felt leaving a permanent, and TV was a permanent job. I immediately went to a state corporation, it was a 3-year contract. But when, in retrospect, I looked at it, I said, this 3-year contract sort of catalyzes or catapults me into reaching my long-term goals faster than me staying here for a longer period.
I see. Okay, and we'll delve a bit deeper into that shortly. And I want to let anyone who's just joined us, I want to welcome them, of course, to this Citizen TV Facebook production and let you know we're talking about reinventing yourself. 2020, COVID, all the challenges that have come into play means that effectively there are sectors that may not be able to absorb everyone post-COVID, and people have to think about what else they can do. And so what is your plan B for those of you who just joined us on this Facebook stream? Do you have a plan B? Have you been affected this year by the challenges of that brought about by COVID-19? And have you had to think about a plan B for your life? What is that? Please write in the comment section and I will read them out even as we go along. Caleb, I know you're still on the line. I'll be coming to you shortly. But before that, there's a gentleman called Anthony Maina on the line from Nakuru. He tells me he has had to change everything because of COVID, but also he's gone through several transitions in life. Anthony, I hope unanipata sasa. Hebu tuelezee story yako kwa ufupi tafadhali. Kwanza nasikia ulianza na kazi ya hardware.
Nilianza na kazi ya hardware.
Okay.
Nikafanya hardware ambapo kazi iliporudi chini. Nikaacha hiyo kazi, alafu nikaanza kuhoka nguo. Nikazitembeza, bado nikaona ikanikutania na msimu ya corona, ambapo corona wakati ilikuja, nikaona kazi tena imerudi chini, nikaanza kuunda hizi mtego za panya na hizi nyumba za vifaranga.
Na hiyo ndio biashara unafanya kwa sasa. So kunaenda vipi? Are you making enough to sustain yourself na familia yako?
Ambapo isipokuwa changamoto ambayo tunapitia ni ukosefu wa material, ukosefu wa pesa, lakini kama ingekuwa pesa ya kutosha tupate material ya kutosha, iko ni nzuri, inayonilishia familia yangu.
Okay, Anthony. Stay on the line, Anthony. I'll be coming to you shortly. But Caleb, let me bring you in. And Liz really set the stage well for why it's important for people to always think about transition because, you know, if you want to get to your goals, sometimes it requires that you change direction to be able to do so. But for some people, reinvention came by force because where they were, they either lost a job or they were, you know, something happened and they had to think afresh. And for some, they actually get into depression, anxiety, and that sort of thing. Your experience was not very easy, I wager. Maybe you can give us an idea of how you managed to reinvent yourself coming out of a very challenging situation.
Yeah, thanks, Wahiga. My challenge was I was used to a salary at the end of the month, assured income. But here you're getting into a field that you're not so sure whether there will be money coming in every end month. So one, how will bills be paid?
Okay, we seem to have lost Caleb there, and he was just about to get into it. Liz, I still hope you're here.
Right.
Okay, Caleb, you're
He's
back?
back. Yeah.
Okay, I'm told he's back.
Sorry, a call came through. A call came through. So yeah, I got into it thinking that I will make a lot of money in agriculture because it was hyped all over that farming is a thing. So I came into farming with so many expectations. And one of the things, and I like what Anthony did, is accept your situation. Accept that you have a pay cut, you have no job, accept that it has happened. But reinventing yourself starts from the mindset. And I like what Liz said there. It's a mindset change. Forgive me for calling. Once I accepted this is my current situation, it's now finding how do I cut my budget. I was used to a lifestyle where I would go have a pizza for dinner. But now that pizza is not assured, so I first had to cut my expenses. I would walk into a shoe shop and buy an expensive shoe that I actually didn't even need. So anyone who has found themselves in that situation, number one, start working your budget. Do you need to pay for that cable TV? Is it that necessary? Savings are good, and I know people have been saving rather. But I'm of the opinion it's good to save and also invest, because the people I'm talking to, they are saying that they have not exhausted their savings because they were employed, they were saving 5,000, 10,000 at the end of the month. But we need to teach people now from saving now to investing. And investing is not as hard as going into, say, real estate. Simple as you have 2 people, 3 people who work for you, who probably boil eggs, they hawk eggs on your behalf. And every day, even if somebody gives you 100 bob, 200 bob, you have about 500 bob you didn't have at the end of the day. That for me is basic investments.
Okay.
I may not be
Caleb,
a financial consultant.
before we get into investment, you've lost your job. Your business has gone down because of COVID. How do I figure out what to do next? Is there a formula? Did you use a formula for you to understand what you needed to get into next?
Sadly, and I'll be very blank with you, I didn't have a formula, and most people don't have a formula because it's not something you had anticipated. But now that it has happened to you, that's what I'm saying. The first thing is accept that it has happened to you. Cut on your budget immediately. If you have to move back to the village with your parents, there is no shame in that. Move to the village, see what you can do to cut your budget. If you're taking your kids to an expensive school, you may be forced to reduce that. But this thinking of the society will think I've gone broke, so what will they talk about me? Forget about that. Accept yourself and start from scratch if you have to.
Okay. Liz, you've heard what Caleb has had to say. Let me ask you this, Liz. If you were thinking of reinventing yourself in 2020, the journey that you've just gone through, how much more difficult do you think it would be? What do you think will be the key challenges for anyone trying to make the kind of moves you made in a year like this one?
Well, I think just before I answer that, let me step back 2 steps just to touch on being declared redundant. So when I was 21 years old working for True Love, Drum, the franchise that had all that, we were declared redundant. And this happened in the most hilarious of ways because our offices were at Wilson Airport. And, you know, the way we have this uchumi power sandwich, I used to be in love with that power sandwich.
I remember that sandwich.
So having lunch, I just gotten my power sandwich with my colleague. We were sitting at our desks, and all of a sudden we were called for a meeting. And it was so sudden. There was no, you know, with COVID, there was some level of expectation. There was a bit of predictability on what's going to happen. Everybody was a bit anxious. Is our salary going to be cut? Are we going to lose our jobs? Will there be some sort of restructure? This redundancy happened out of the blues. If anything, we had just launched 2 new magazines in the market, Adam and Twende, and Move, actually 3. And we were just told and we just gotten a new GM. So there was no indication that the business was doing bad. And all of a sudden, the 2-month-old general manager says, there's no easy way to say this, but the company has been shut down. And my power sandwich dropped because never expect that, right? And, you know, the first couple of days, it's very hard. You know, I was thinking I'm 21, I have this house that I have to pay for. I have this car that is on loan that I have to make sure I make payments every month. And, you know, it's such a confusing period. But I think what helps you is, you know, you're human. You need a day or 2 to really, you know, come to terms with the situation. And then you start thinking, okay, fine, where can I make savings? because I was a writer then, I started thinking about what magazines and what networks do I have that I can reach out to, that I can start asking them if I can, send them anything for me to, publish. And if it happens, I know 2020 caught a lot of people by surprise, but I have to say that losing a job is not the end of the world. Yeah. And one of the strengths for me back then when I was 21 was the networks that I had were very critical. And it would surprise you that, yes, there are some jobs that are, some jobs are being declared obsolete, some restructuring happening, yet at the same time, there are actually still recruitment that is going on. So what I would say is restart this is the importance of networking, and I can't re-emphasize. Who do you know in what fields? Do you know there's so many networks that people can join, whether it's a WhatsApp group. I'm in a couple of WhatsApp groups where people post vacancies, whether it's short term, what value do the people that you know bring to your life? How can they help you? Yeah, and it's not a matter of you have to know somebody to get a job. It's about being aware of the market, being aware of the things that are happening. And we have this network called the Liz Ntonjira Network. And every 2 weeks, we share a newsletter with a lot of grant opportunities, enterprise funding opportunities, scholarships, fellowship opportunities. And I would ask anybody watching this to join this kind of networks. There are quite a number of them.
Okay. I guess one of the other questions that some would ask tonight, why am I saying tonight, is still in the evening. What happens if my reinvention fails? Did you ever worry about that?
I think
if it doesn't work as I hoped or anticipated, what do I then do?
Do you know the beauty of coming up with your mission, vision, and core values? You also have to be smart. Your goals have to be very smart. They have to be time bound, right? They have to be realistic. They have to be relevant. They have to be sustainable. In 6 months, if that was your reinvention journey, and in 3 months you've not even reached halfway, do you need to reevaluate your reinvention plan? That's what I would also ask. So you always have to put a time limit, or your goals have to be time bound so that you can always go back and refer. And another thing is mentors. Mentors are very, very critical. Whenever you're stuck, just reach out and ask, this is the path I'm going, these are the challenges I'm facing, and this would be people within the same industry that you have identified. What did you do when you faced these challenges? There's no point in reinventing the wheel. If somebody has gone through those challenges, ask them, what did they do?
That actually makes a lot of sense. Let me bring Bwana Maina, bado uko natusikia? Yes, Bwana Maina, are you still on the line? Okay, we seem to have lost him. Caleb, you've heard what Liz has had to say, and I can give you a chance to respond to that. But when you look around, what do you think COVID-19 has done to force you to reinvent even what you are doing right now?
Good. I would say look inwards. A few years ago, I liked my own space. I didn't want to interact with people. I farm, you come, take my produce and go. But as I realized that people want information, people want to come to the farm, want to learn. I never thought at any given time I'll become a trainer. That was not in my books at all. It wasn't in my vision board. But when people are not buying my produce, they are coming for training. All right. So over time, I had to let go of that personality, that bit of I have, that I don't want people at my farm, I don't want people in my space. And I realized that this is actually a money maker. I mean, consultancy, it's something that many people may not even be thinking about. What Liz was talking about earlier about how she was around.
Caleb, you're a very popular man. People keep calling you.
I think that, sorry about that. Sorry about that.
It's okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so consultancy is something that I didn't think was in me, but I had to look inwards and see, oh, I can actually do that. Coronavirus has also forced me to start doing online trainings. I was stuck with...
Okay, very popular man there, Caleb. People keep calling you. I'll come to you, Caleb, shortly.
I don't know. Okay.
I think you need to talk to someone there. Let me bring in Anthony Maina, who is still on the line. Bwana Maina, ulituambia kwamba kwa sasa unaunda manyumba za kuku amongst other businesses. Ni biashara gani ingine umefikiria utafanya kama hautafaulu kwa ile unafanya kwa sasa? Bwana Maina, unanisikia? Bwana Maina, unanipata? Okay. I don't know what's happening with that. Liz, who do you say you admire in Kenya in terms of reinvention? That you would say, you emulate and you would urge those who are watching this live stream to also look at their story?
Wow, that's a very good question.
And you're not allowed to say yourself.
No.
or your family members.
I will call you back. Stop calling.
I think I would say, wow, that's a very interesting question. I would say looking at people like Julie Gishuru.
Okay.
She has been in the media industry for the longest time, and she reinvented herself to have her own show, Africa Dialogue.
Leadership Dialogues, yes.
Leadership Dialogues. Because she's very passionate about leadership, about the young people, and thereafter she reinvented herself into internationally having these opportunities to moderate, facilitate various events, and now she's working for MasterCard Foundation. I mean, it's been an evolution. It's been a wonderful journey for her. I think she's one of the very first people I reached out to back, this is a very long time ago. And you can just tell her genuineness, because I did not know her. I reached out to her and asked her, I've been called for a screen test and I have no idea what to do. What would you advise me to do? And she gave me tips. And this is a person who did not know who's emailing her. So I think she's one of the people that I admire truly, who have really reinvented themselves.
Okay. And obviously that has served as a lesson to you in terms of your particular journey. Do you think it's ever too late to reinvent oneself? Liz, are you happier you did it when you were younger? Would it be a lot more difficult to do it now or in later years?
No, I don't think so. I think you can reinvent yourself even at 60 years old.
At 60, my goodness.
Yes, you can.
But it's more difficult then. Don't you agree?
It would be a bit difficult then, but you see, the thing about reinventing yourself, you have to really know your niche market. Look at all your Steve Jobs, your Jack Ma. They didn't make it when they were 20 years old. A lot of them made it when they were 40, 50. Look at the Amazon, Jeff Bezos. He didn't make it when he was pretty young. It's all about understanding your niche market, doing your market research. I think the biggest challenge sometimes of us young people, when we think about reinventing ourselves, I say, maybe I should get into farming now because I can see Caleb is doing very well. So he becomes my SI unit. Well, in essence, I've not really looked at the market. What do people, for instance, from where I come from in Meru, need? Is it potatoes? Is it danias? Is it whatever it is, whatever farm produce it is? So we have to think about market research better as young people before, and understanding our niche and target audience. Whenever people start a business, I always ask them, who's your target market? And, that's a question, because you can't please everybody. You know what I mean? You can't be the Liz and the Caleb at the same time. You have to have a niche target audience.
Mm-hmm. You have to be your own person.
Yes, you do. You have to be authentic. You have to be resilient. And I wish miners' call did not drop, because one of the things I've learned about him, he's really resilient. He doesn't sit down and think, okay, this has not worked, what will I do? This has not worked, what will I do? He's resilient. And that's what you need in this life, particularly during these times. You need to have the grit, you need to have the resilience, and you need to work, on top of working hard, work smart.
I like that. Caleb, do we have you back? Have you told whoever was calling you that you're in a small meeting?
Yes, I've told them. I'm in a big meeting.
Oh, no, not a small one.
Not a small one.
So tell me this. There are people probably watching this broadcast who are comfortable where they are. Maybe they're not under fear of being retrenched. They're in sectors that are stable. But what would you say is the danger in being comfortable where you are?
I think those people who have that notion don't want to be the prophet of your doom, but your day could be coming sooner than you think.
That sounds like is that a threat?
It's not a threat, but it's the reality of life. Most of the people who've lost their jobs, they never saw it coming. You talk to people, they're like, I was top tier. I mean, I was doing so well, I was top of my career, but I lost my job. So if you're safe or you have job safety, if there's such a thing, start working on your plan B right now. And plan B, in my opinion, should be, what do you love doing the most? I see people saying, I have a couple of coins I've saved up. I want to get into farming because I hear there's money in farming.
Yes.
But they are not passionate about farming. So you tell them, oh, it's going to take you 5 to 6 months for you to get a return on investment. They're like, no, I want money tomorrow morning. It doesn't work like that. So understand whichever field you want to invest in as a side hustle, it better bring you, even if it is just, say, 5,000-10,000 shillings every week or every month, but it's assured income. This notion of expecting to make millions overnight, I think that's where most of us are getting it all wrong. Where I used to work, I was doing very well, or so I thought. So when I started my side hustle, I got into chicken, I got into pig farming, I got into so many things at the same time. Those who have been fired, please be very careful with the few coins that you have. Invest it so wisely that you're not going to spread your risk everywhere. That you have a chicken project, you have cows, you have a car wash, you have an M-Pesa shop, you have a kinyozi. Focus. You better focus, because you don't know next when you're going to get a salary. Something else I noted with myself is we must introspect. What are you really good at? Mm-hmm. There's a friend of mine who was in the tours and travel business, and the tourism sector it's almost on its knees.
Yes.
And Warenga, she's called Warenga, my friend, she came to this farm and she told me, so Caleb, what do I do? And we got talking. She said, I love cooking so much. And she talked and she wrote it all. Yes, you said you love cooking. What can you do with that cooking? So she said, I think I can make some jam. I can make strawberry jam. I can make pineapple jam. I'm like, yes, why don't you do that? And right now, when you're talking about reinventing, that lady has reinvented herself so much so that I doubt she's even going to go back to the tours and travel company. But the first thing she did is accepted this is the situation. It's not permanent. The tourism sector is going to rise up one day. So what can I do in the meantime? Leverage on your friends. Just talking to people, just coming to the farm and having a conversation changed her life. Talk to your uncles, talk to your brothers, talk to your sisters. Who are you having a conversation with? Some people will tell you, in my opinion, where kanyangia tuwe tuka nyumbani, things are going to pick up. We don't know how long coronavirus is going to be with us. We don't even know whether the lockdown will be lifted next in a few days. We don't know. Work like that side hustle is your main hustle. Work like you're not going to go back to formal employment. And just believe in yourself. Many other times, I've doubted myself. I've doubted my ability to really run a company. But 10 years later, we are surviving by the grace of God. So just believe in yourself. Everybody will look at you like, that sector you're getting into, we don't see any future in it. But as long as you believe in yourself, you believe in what you're doing, and you've done a thorough research on your business, things are going to work out. It's not perfect, but somehow things are going to work out.
I love your optimism, Caleb. Let me read some of the feedback we're getting, then I'll give each of you a chance to give us your final thoughts on this. Martin Boro says watching, okay, one word. Peter Karaoke says, Karuga, the best farmer from journalism to farming. Well done. Francis Mugo says, how can we invest with this lockdown and curfews? Okay. Emmanuel Ihaji says, we have to learn to work smarter. I agree with you. Let me see what else we have here. Alphonse Shiundu, a journalist, saying, great show. Thanks, Liz, Caleb, and Wahiga for having this discussion. Let me see what else we have here. Robert Price says, great discussion. I am here. You can host me next because I have become an online entrepreneur. Thanks, Robert Price. I'll reach out to you after this. And is there anyone? A lot of people are saying tuned. We can hear you. We are watching you from different parts of the country, locked in as well. Someone saying COVID-19 is a scam. My goodness, that's a discussion. That's a different topic. And Liz, we can talk about that from an AMREF perspective at another time. Let me get some final thoughts. Let me start with you, Anthony. Anthony, I hope kwa sasa tunakupata. Nilikuwa nakuuliza kwamba kama hii biashara ya kutengeneza na kuuza nyumba ya kuku haitafaulu, wewe una mipango gani wewe?
Kwa mpango wangu, although nilikuwa nikipenda hardware. Sasa hii nikipata kama pesa naweza sustain hardware.
Okay.
In my future.
In your future. Leo tulikuwa tunaongea kuhusu to reinvent. Yaani ni kama kujibadilisha kwa sababu maybe maisha imekuwa ngumu. Kwa wale wamejipata kwa shida kwa sasa, wewe unaweza wapea mawaidha gani? What advice can you give them?
Kwa advice yangu ni kwamba kama saa hizi vile nilibadilisha hii kazi. Hello?
Nakusikia?
Anipata?
Endelea, unasema?
Kulingana na vile nilibadilisha hii kazi, naona sio ni material, ukosefu pengine wa material. Youth wako na mambo mingi ambapo wanaweza kuwa wakifanya. Juu kama sisi tulianzisha kidogo na tuko vijana kadhaa ambapo tunatafuta chakula tu hapo. Ingawa sasa ukosefu wa material, sasa ndio tuko na pesa kidogo ya tulianzisha na pesa kidogo. Sasa tuna customer wanakuwa wengi kuliko vile kulingana na vile tunashona.
So kwa sasa, kwa sababu umetuambia uko Nakuru, kama kuna vijana wa Nakuru wanatazama hii kipindi kwa sasa, ungewaambia wajaribu nini kama ile biashara walikuwa wanafanya imeharibika ama imekwama?
Ningeambia wajaribu kitu kingine, mambo iko ya kufanya mingi. Wajaribu tu kitu yoyote nayo Mungu atawasaidia kupitia hiyo.
Okay.
Kwa sababu sisi tulianza na bado tu tunaendelea.
Na bado mnaendelea. Asante Anthony Maina kutoka Nakuru. Let's get some final thoughts now also from Liz. Final thoughts. What is your message in terms of how to handle that transition that comes with the reinvention? Whether you are forced to reinvent, whether you have chosen to reinvent.
I think what I would say is a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step, just one step. And, you know, one of my mentors who has really reinvented himself, Professor Bitanga Ndemo, always says, God blessed us with so many problems as an African continent. And where the solution lies is where the business is. Think about the problems that we encounter, that different people encounter. Do you have a solution for that? And, you know, because I know capital is one of the biggest challenges that a lot of people talk about. Have you reached to your friends, to your networks? You know, Wahiga, whenever people talk about business, they say, I don't have capital to start. Have I reached out to 2 friends and told them, you know, do a pitch to your friends. This is the business idea I have. Please invest in it. It's sort of like they have an equity to your business. So think out of the box, yeah? If you're a good writer, there's so many writing competitions that happen that win quite a number of prizes. Just think out of the box in how you can be able to be financially viable, as well as in your own way of making money and your expenditures be financially prudent. But I always say a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. Even when you're feeling down and out, trust me, the journey will be worth it at the end of the day.
I like the way you've wrapped that up. So are you already thinking of your next reinvention?
Yes, in fact, I'm launching something very soon.
Okay.
By the 29th of August, something really exciting that captures everything that we're talking about. You know, Wahiga, I'm so passionate about young people and youth empowerment. I've been advocating for this for the longest time, even in terms of the policy space. That's what I've been doing on my extra time. So be sure to join us in the countdown.
You are so mysterious.
For the 29th, and also please join the network. We have such great resources. You can join the network at www.lizintonjiranetwork.com.
Fantastic. You know, they said nobody can stop reggae. For you, clearly, I'm glad you've been able to keep moving even during these difficult times. Caleb, someone had a question for you. You've been urging young people to invest. They are saying, kuna lockdown, kuna curfew. Our investment options are limited, have been curtailed by the circumstances our environment is in. As you give us your final thoughts, how do you respond to a young person like that today?
All right. I understand how lockdown has affected farmers, especially those who are dependent on major towns like Nairobi, Mombasa, and Nakuru. But it's about accepting it has happened. So what can I farm that in my locality there's demand for it? For example, people who are supplying cabbages from, Nakuru all the way to Mombasa, if you can't supply to Mombasa, what else can you supply within your location? There is always an opportunity from the neighborhood. I started goat farming the other day, and in my wildest dreams, I thought I would be taking my milk to the supermarket, to hospitals. But my neighbor here told me, my kid has an issue with taking cow milk, so I want just a cup. It's that small. I just want a cup. So there's a market just within your neighborhood, so start from there. Start small and grow big. I would rather you have cash flow of, say, 200 shillings, 500 shillings every day and watch your business grow exponentially. Something else, Wahiga, I must add. I think it's about time, and Corona has taught us this, collaborations. If you've been going solo, flying solo in these times of Corona is not going to work. If you have a shop, but you don't have clients, can you have other people come and work? If you have an office space, rather, can people come and work in your office? You share that rent together. If I have a farm and I have water, but I don't have the skills to farm and to market my produce, yet someone else is really good with social media marketing, how can I collaborate with that person and be able to sell? Times going alone, I don't think, even companies are merging everywhere. So it's about time young people think of collaborating, looking for opportunities near them, start small, grow big, believe in yourself.
Caleb, excellent. Fantastic way to wrap this up. Joseph Kairi saying we should have more than one revenue stream to survive, clearly. Paul Mumo Mwangangi, think outside the box. Nelly Rorian Neymar, I think. Discussion Ikosawa. And a lot of people just saying they really have enjoyed this discussion. William Nagila, I love the discussion. Martin Borough watching, and a lot of other messages as well that I will not have time to read. But thank you nevertheless for your time. Liz Tonjira Mutuma, Head of Global Corporate Comms, Amref Health Africa, thank you for your time, together with Caleb Karuga, agripreneur and CEO, Wendy Farms. The last time I spoke to Caleb, it was raining where he was. Thank God it's not today. I don't know where he would shelter. And Anthony Maina, all the way from Nakuru, just sharing his reinvention experience. He was in the hardware business, then Mitumba, then selling of, for example, houses for chickens, basically trying to earn a living at a time like this. Because today has all been about reinvention. What is your plan B, just in case something happens to your plan A? Or what is the next phase of your journey? And we hope you've learned something today. Remember, we do this show every Thursday on the Citizen TV Kenya Facebook page. Do you have any ideas on what topics you'd like to see us discuss? Please let us know. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, @Wahiga Mwaura. Drop me a message, tag me, and it's a topic we could be discussing in the near future. But we're done for today, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you for your time and for all your comments. I'm seeing new messages coming in right now I may not be able to read, apart from Femi Na, who says you've enjoyed the topic, and Simon Kagure, who says awesome discussion. We'll see you guys again next week on the Citizen TV Facebook page. Goodbye.